Well, good morning, guys. Sorry about my voice. I think it's allergy related. Tiny bit of a sore throat, nothing major. Just kind of hoarse and a little bit, gunky in my throat. But the weather or the allergens have been terrible this year, so I'm thinking that's what it is. Welcome to another vlog. I'm not really sure what this video is going to entail. I've got so much to do, and I have an appointment later this afternoon, so I'm going to try to get most everything I need done this morning. I'm right now kind of a mixture of different emotions right now. I'm feeling anxious, very anxious, and I know I shouldn't feel anxious, but I do, because every time I go on Facebook, all they're talking about is the enhanced severe weather outbreak that is predicted for tomorrow in my area, right through the county where I live. And there are, some different meteorologists are kind of downplaying it, others are hyping it, and it's just scary to me because they're using words like enhanced risk, 4 out of 5, outbreak for tornadoes, and it's just nerve-wracking to me. I have a lot of storm anxiety, and when you start talking tornadoes, it just gets me very anxious, even though we have a basement. I don't want to lose my house. And so it's like, I don't want any property damage. My dad lives next door. He doesn't have a basement, and he can't get in our basement. He can't get down the stairs. My sister lives just next door too, and I don't know. I just really trying not to worry, because sometimes they're wrong, but unfortunately the better they get with technology and things, the more accurate they are. And so, I watch Ryan Hall on YouTube. He's a meteorologist, and his tagline is don't be scared, be prepared. Well, you can be prepared all you want, and you can still lose your house. So it's just, and I know a house is just things, but it's still traumatic. I mean, we just had major damage last year on our house, and that was terrible. And we didn't lose anything as far as like material possessions. I mean, our house got damaged, but it was repaired, even better than it was before. So anyway, I'm rambling, but I'm just feeling extreme anxiety, and I keep just praying that the Lord would protect us and make them wrong, and make these storms not even come together, and for help me to trust, because I have trust issues. I really do. Not in God, but in a lot of things, a lot of areas in my life. I have trust issues. So it's really, it's nerve-wracking. But on a good note, I got the results back from my MRI, and everything is normal. They did find some cysts on my kidneys, both my kidneys, but they're benign. They're not going to turn into cancer, and they usually don't even cause problems. So that's a praise. And they also found some cysts on my liver, which I thought was very strange, and I did some research on it, and come to find out most cysts on your liver are congenital, which means you were born with them, and they never develop into cancer. They can cause problems if they get large enough, but mine are not large. So anyway, everything else is great. The abdominal MRI checked everything. It's like my gallbladder's healthy, my spleen is healthy, my pancreas is healthy, don't have colitis, I don't have an obstruction, you know, nothing at all. And I'm just so thankful. Now, one thing that I'm curious about, which I'm going to talk to the doctor when I see him, I have to go for a follow-up, is there was no mention on the MRI of a kidney stone in my left kidney. And according to the CAT scan that I had done, I have a kidney stone in my left kidney. And so I'm thinking, if there was one in my left kidney, wouldn't they have mentioned it in the MRI? So maybe there's not one. Maybe I don't have one in my left kidney. Maybe the CAT scan was wrong. Or maybe MRIs don't pick up those type of things, but they pick up everything else. I would think they could pick that up. So anyway, so that's on a good note. Update on Bo. He got all of his test results back. He has Lyme's disease, which he was positive for that last time, but he's asymptomatic, and so there's no they're not going to treat him if he's not having symptoms. He was negative for heartworms, which I was confident he would be. He does have worms. They're called whipworms. I've never heard of them before, and they're fairly common apparently. And unfortunately, the heartworm medication that he takes, it also is for intestinal parasites, but it doesn't do anything, it doesn't prevent whipworms. So he picked them up somewhere in his free ranging, because he was a free ranger. He would, you know, go all over the property. But since this diagnosis, and since he was actually sick, probably from these worms, we have decided he can no longer just be allowed to roam the property. So we're trying to train him to just go in our fenced-in backyard when he needs to go to the bathroom and come back in the house. And he is not happy. He barks and whines and barks and whines, and we let him out, and he'll just go and stand by the fence and stare longingly out by the barn, and he wants to go roam. He wants to go patrol the area like he did every day for his entire life, but he just can't be allowed to do that anymore. He is on medication for the worms, and he has to be retested in a month for that. We are keeping him away from the other two dogs until he gets the all clear for that. And the only other thing that was a little bit well, there's two things that were a little bit concerning. They did find a low-grade heart murmur, but he had that the last time, and it's not gotten any worse, and it's probably just because of his age, but we are keeping an eye on that. And then his pancreas, I don't know if you can hear him whining. He's in there whining. He was just out, and he went to the bathroom. So he does not need to go to the bathroom. Anyway, his pancreas levels were elevated. So we have to put him on a low-fat diet. I'm going to be making him some homemade dog food today, because we looked into the kind that you can buy, like the prescription dog food. $60-something for an 8-pound bag. I'm like, he's a 50-pound dog. We'd be going through that in no time, and we just cannot afford it. So I'm going to put him on a low-fat homemade food. I will do that today, and you guys can come along with me when I do that. So I think that's all of the updates. Don't think I've forgotten anything or left anything out. The other two dogs are doing fine. Tomorrow we're going to have to give Oliver some of his anxiety medication because he has severe storm anxiety. I wish I had some anxiety medication to take. I need to take something to knock me out so I don't even know what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to get myself together here. I do, like I said, I have an appointment this afternoon. So I want to try to get as much done this morning as I can. And then the other thing I want to do today, I'm gonna make dog food, and I want to go around and kind of get prepared for tomorrow in case we do have bad storms. I have some things that are sentimental to me that I would hate to lose if something did happen to our house. So I want to get those things gathered up and taken to the basement. So anyway, I'll pick you back up when I'm doing the next thing. I just trimmed and harvested lettuce and kale just a few days ago, but look at it. It's starting to bolt, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna harvest a bunch of this morning. I think there might be some rain rolling in. I'm gonna harvest some of my basil and some of my parsley. I'm going to refill my fancy bird feeder that Travis got me for Mother's Day. Completely empty. Somehow this bag got ripped open. That's going to make it challenging. It was inside of a metal can, so I know it wasn't a critter that got into it. And I have some mealworms that I'm going to put just in the landing zone here. I also have this bird feeder that it has a solar panel, and at night it lights up, and makes it really pretty. I put a different kind of seed in this one because the opening is smaller. And these are the only two feeders that I have been filling, because they're the only two that critters, raccoons and possums and stuff, can't reach this feeder and my motion activated feeder. So they're the only ones I am filling this summer. So here's my harvest. I'm going to get this washed. I let it soak for a while in case there's any bugs in it. And the basil we've been mostly feeding to Olivia's bird. Anyway, let me get this going, and then I got to get started on making Bo's homemade food. Alright, the first step of making Bo's dog food is I have some of these boneless, skinless chicken tenderloins. I had bought these thinking I would make them for me, for my lunches, but needs must. I have to use it for Bo's dog food. It's the only boneless, skinless chicken breast I have. So I'm going to get it in this pot, and I'm going to boil it till it's nice and tender and cooked. And then in this same pot, because I don't want to dirty up a bunch of dishes, after the chicken is done, I'm going to take the chicken out and I'm going to cook the rice in this same pot, and possibly even the same water. And while the chicken is cooling and I get it chopped up, then the rice can be cooking. So I'll bring you back when I'm ready to do the next thing. Alright, the chicken is done, so I'm going to pull it out. Just put it in this container right now. And I measured out the rice. I have 6 cups of instant brown rice, and when you cook it, it's supposed to be equal parts rice to water. And I'm pretty sure I have more than 6 cups of water in this pot. So I am going to pour off 6 cups of water and then dump the rest out and put the 6 cups of water back in here and get the rice going. Alright, the rice is done, chicken is done. Everything needs to cool off a bit before I can do the next step. So I'm going to throw this rice in a bowl so it has more surface area to cool off, and I'm going to give it about a half hour, and then I'll finish assembling everything. And then it's going to be time for me to go to my appointment. Alright, I got out of the shower, and now I'm waiting for the rice to cool down just a little bit more. So I thought I would make my drink as part of my kidney stone prevention routine, I guess you can call it. I am drinking 100 ounces of fluid a day, primarily water, but I do count my coffee in the morning, and I try to make 1 cup. This cup holds 24 ounces of a flavored beverage, because just plain water all the time is kind of boring. So I'm going to put this vitamin water in here, and this is 16 ounces. And then I'll fill this bottle approximately half full with water and add that to it as well. And to this, I'm going to add 1 pouch of this Ultima electrolyte. I've been having a lot of Charlie horses in my legs, and I don't know if it's because I'm lacking something. A lot of times dehydration can cause that, but I'm definitely not dehydrated, so I'm not really sure. But as part of the kidney stone prevention thing, I'm also supposed to be doing low sodium, but these Ultimas, they don't have very much sodium in them. So I go ahead and just do 1 of these, not every single day, but most days. And this is actually the raspberry flavor. So this will be kind of like a berry drink when it's all mixed up. This flavor is dragon fruit. So I put that in there. And then I have some powdered pomegranate, and pomegranate juice is actually been known to prevent kidney stones. It's really, really good for you, and it's good for your kidney health. The fallacy or the false information is that cranberry juice is good for kidney stones. It is not. Cranberry juice is good for kidney infections or bladder infections, but it actually can create or cause kidney stones. So you don't want to drink cranberry juice unless you have a UTI. So I put that in, and it doesn't dissolve perfectly, but eventually it will dissolve in there. The other thing I put in there is this elderberry. Boost my immune system. A strong immune system is good for just about every problem you might have. Let's put 1 dropper full in. Then I will, like I said, I'll put half a thing of water in and then top it off with ice. There we go. All right, back to the dog food. I'm gonna go ahead and chop this chicken up. It's nice and cool now. Not at all hot. The rice is not steaming anymore, but if I stir it, it might steam a little bit. Let me go ahead and stir it. Oh yeah, it's still holding on to quite a bit of heat in there. I'll have to stir it a couple more times. So as far as my how I'm feeling like physically, I am feeling so much better, especially after getting those MRI results, because I've said this before, I don't think I can say it enough, I am a worrier. And I know, and part of the reason I have anxiety about it is I know what the Bible says about worrying and being anxious. And so it's in my nature to be a worrier. I have been since I was a tiny little girl. And I don't know how to break that natural instinct or natural part of my psyche to to be a worrier. And then when I know I'm not supposed to worry and I'm supposed to trust in the Lord, then I get I feel guilty about worrying, and it just compounds on itself. And I've been working on my anxiety and my storm fear with my pastor, and it helps, but when all they're doing, every time I go on Facebook, it's like, and I scroll, it's like post after post after post after post about how severe and potentially severe these storms could be tomorrow. And it's just, I can't. I'm just not even going to go on Facebook until Thursday, because I just can't cope with it constantly reminding me of what potentially could happen tomorrow. And Scott and I were talking. He messages me from work when he's not busy or if he's on his lunch break. So we were having a little chat in Messenger, and he's like, I was thinking about it, and I don't know how we coped years ago when we were first married and we lived in that little single wide trailer with no basement. And how did we manage storms? How did we, survive them or whatever? And I told him, I said, well, part of it is because back in those days, we were unaware a lot of times. There was no Facebook. There was no internet. I mean, there was internet, but we didn't have it. We didn't even have a home computer when we were first married. We certainly didn't have a smartphone or anything like that. And so all we had was the television and the, local weather. And so, unless there was an imminent threat, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know the potential risk of things, and it was as it happened. And so too much information sometimes can be a detriment when you are an anxious person. There was lots of times, though, back in those days, that I would get a little, bag of my stuff together, my pictures mainly, because I didn't want to lose my pictures, and run over to my mom's house because they had a storm cellar. They've since had the storm cellar bulldozed in because it was getting unsafe, so they just did away with it. So they don't even have a basement. My dad doesn't even have a basement. But there were lots of times when I would pack my little ditty bag together and run over to my mom's, and if we needed to go down in the cellar, we would. And so we were less anxious, I think, because we didn't know, but yet at the same time, we didn't have any place to go if there was a bad storm. So there was a lot of anxiety, like, in the moment, but there was none of this, like, anticipatory anxiety that I get, thinking storms are coming. And I don't know, sometimes I think some weather people just like to hype stuff to get clicks. They have, like, dramatic headlines and stuff. But yet, when every single news outlet is talking about this weather pattern that's coming tomorrow, it makes me really anxious. All right, got the chicken all chopped up. I'm going to mix that in real well with this rice. Now, ordinarily when I made this dog food for my other dogs, that whenever they would need a homemade food, a special diet, I'm thinking specifically of my little Sally girl, because she had congestive heart failure and she needed to be on a low-fat diet. At this point, I would add some frozen vegetables. Well, Bo is not a fan of vegetables, but I do have a small, like just a little bit of peas left, frozen peas. I'm going to throw those in there and just see how he does. I mean, if he picks them out and doesn't eat them, then I'll know. But I know he doesn't like green beans or carrots. He doesn't like fruit. He doesn't like watermelon. He won't eat lettuce. Whereas my other two dogs, they'll eat just about anything. Like, the only thing I can think of that Oliver doesn't like is bananas. And I haven't found anything that Percy doesn't like except kale. We gave the dogs some kale and neither one of them liked it. So that's all the peas I had in this little bag. So we'll just start with a small amount of vegetables. That'll cool it down a little bit too. And then what I'm going to add to it is the veterinary nurse suggested low-fat cottage cheese. So I ran to Kroger, got a container of low-fat cottage cheese, which I'm going to add to this. And then the last thing I'm going to put in is this. I bought this from the vet. It was $5 and some change for this one can of dog food, and it's the low fat. You can only get this with a prescription, so if I end up buying any of this from Chewy.com, I'm going to have to get a prescription from the vet. But I'm going to go ahead and add this whole can to this. I don't know, like Sally, she didn't like any of these low-fat foods that I tried to, feed her. She didn't like any of them. But I thought if I added this to my homemade stuff, Bo would be more likely to eat it, and then that way he'd be getting more protein and things that dogs need. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the mess. Like up to this point, a person could eat this. But once I add this can of dog food, it then is officially dog food. This is kind of gross looking, but hopefully he will eat it. I think since he's going to be eating like this other stuff mixed with it, he should eat it. I'm going to be brave and I'm going to smell it. It just smells like, it smells like beef stew, actually. Like people beef stew. This is the rice, vegetable, and chicken stew. Maybe must be why it smells like stew. I'm going to put some of it in this container since it was already dirty, and I'm going to put that in the fridge, and then the rest of it I'm going to bag up in 1 cup portions and stick it in the freezer. I'm not really sure how much I should feed him per meal. I mean, he's a big dog, so I'm thinking probably 3/4 of a cup at least per meal. So I don't want to stick too much in this because I don't want it to be in there more than just a couple of days. So I'll get that, and then, oh, my nose is so itchy. And then we'll get it bagged up. I'm going to just go with 3/4 of a cup for now, and then we can adjust it later. I'm going to put 2 cup portions for every baggie, and then that should be a whole day's worth of food. If we give him like 3/4 of a cup for breakfast, 3/4 of a cup for lunch, and then he gets, we call it 11sies. It's at night, or 11 o'clock at night, because Percy has to have his medicine with food, and he has to have it 3 times a day. So we've just been giving Oliver and Bo a little snack at that time of the night, just because we spoil our dogs. I guess that's the only reason I guess we give it to them, is because we spoil them, and they would be looking at us longingly if Percy got something and they didn't. So that's why we do. And we've just basically split up their daily allowance of food into 3 portions instead of just 2. So they're not getting overfed, they're just getting it spread out throughout the day. So I don't know if this is going to be enough bags, but I put gloves on because I have a lot of experience making homemade dog food, and the one thing I do know, it's very messy, and it's a messy job, and it's very sticky, and your hands get really gross. So gloves it is. There's a little bit left in the bowl, and I could put it in this other container, but I think I'm going to divide this little dab up between the 3 boys because Oliver and Percy have been hanging out at my feet ever since I opened up that can of dog food, and they're waiting patiently for a little snack. And I also want to see what Bo thinks of this. Well, this is just a little taste that I'm going to give a little bit to each boy. Now let's take some over to Bo. Don't forget you. I think he likes it. What's not to like, huh, Bo? Now, there wasn't a pea in there. That'll be the test. If I can get him to eat peas and carrots, I could do that. Now I gotta get this mess cleaned up. Get that in the fridge and get these in the freezer. So this is probably about 10 days worth of food right here. So the next time I'm at the vet, which is actually going to be next week because I have to take Oliver for his checkup, I'll probably get a couple more cans of that dog food. And then the next time I go grocery shopping, I will get some more rice and chicken. And if he eats the peas, I'll get some peas and cottage cheese. And we'll just probably have to make this food about every week, week and a half. So it's not that big a deal, and I don't really mind doing it if it makes his life better. I have to leave soon for my appointment, and before I wrap this video up, I'm going to just show you just a few of the things that I'm going to be taking downstairs tonight, and I'll be taking some other things down tomorrow in preparation for these possible severe storms. I'm going to be taking down my Bible. This is my church bag, and it's got my Bible and my notes and things in there. That's going down. This book is actually a book that the ladies group at our church is reading, and it doesn't really have any sentimental value, but I thought it would give me something to read to keep my mind off of things. This is my TENS unit. I use this all the time, and I would be so upset if I lost this. I use it for my back pain, I use it for my knee pain, and so I'm going to bring that down. This is an extra pair of glasses I'm going to take down. I'm going to take down my boots, because if, God forbid, something happens and we have a bunch of rubble that we have to walk through, you should have heavy closed-toed shoes. So those are going to go downstairs. As far as like sentimental things, I've got so many sentimental things. It's really hard for me to decide what to take and what not to take. But I am definitely going to take the crocheted things that Olivia has made for me. These are so precious to me, and I don't want to lose them. So these are going to go for sure. Everything that she has made for me over the years. I think that's all of them in here. I'm going to take my house hippo just because I really like it, and they're not easy to find or to replace. There's so many things. Oh my goodness, all of these things over here. I really like all of these things, but it's not practical to pack up my entire house. So what I'm going to bring down is this vintage glass that my friend Carolyn sent me from Australia. This is irreplaceable. I love all my Jersey cow figurines, but the only thing I'm going to take down is this picture, because this belonged to a very special lady of mine, lady friend of mine, who she was my Sunday school teacher when I was a tiny little kid. I mean, I remember her when I was like 5 years old, and she passed away a few years ago, and I bought this off of her at her estate sale, and I think I paid 50 cents for it. But this reminds me of Mrs. Deich, and so I'm going to take this downstairs. This is my mom's Betty Crocker cookbook. I'd be devastated if I lost that. I'm going to take my jadeite salt and pepper shakers and butter dish, because these are genuine jadeite. They have value and would be very, very, very almost impossible to replace. The piglet that Livia made for me. like I said, I have so many things that are old and irreplaceable, but I can't pack my whole house up and put it down in the basement. So I have to be selective. Olivia made this for me for my birthday this year, so that's going down. And then I'm going to take all of my Brambley Hedge Royal Doulton figurines. Those have value and are very hard to replace. Here's the Brambley Hedge. I'm going to get them wrapped up in this box, and then I'm going to put this in here as well. My friend Cindy sent me that, and I would be upset if I lost that. So let me get these wrapped up and put in this box, and this box is probably going to be pretty full. I may have to take some of Olivia's creations out and put them in just put them in a bag. All right, friends, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Tomorrow I will take down my purse, all my medications, the dog's medications, maybe a few outfits of clothing, I don't know. And then the storms are supposed to hit us around 5, like starting around 5 o'clock. So we're gonna have an early supper, and then I'm gonna go spend the rest of the evening in the basement until everything has passed. I'm just praying that the Lord will just break these storms up and they will be nothing. But, you know, it's a reality that we could, and we could lose our house. And after what happened to us last year, that's even more like on the forefront of my brain that, you know, we're not immune to tragedy like that. So I just want to get the things that are most precious to me in the basement, and hopefully everything will be fine. And like I said, I keep praying that these storms will just dissipate and nobody will receive any damage anywhere. I'm not just praying for myself, I'm praying for the whole state. Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, we're all kind of under the gun. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. For sure, barring any tragedies, I will have a video for you on Friday. But if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below, and we will talk to you all later. Be praying for us as you are watching this video. Be praying for us and for this whole Midwest area. We'll talk to you later, friends. Bye-bye.